Welcome to the AI for Good Global Summit here in Geneva, and I'm now delighted to be joined by Jose Contreras-Vidal from the University of Houston, probably one of the world's leading neuro engineers, director of a center with about 100 people, including students working in all this field. And we'll talk about what we've seen here at the summit. It's pretty impressive. What have you come looking for here?
Meeting of minds. So AI for Good, we are really interested in helping humanity on the use of AI, brain-computer interfaces to understand the human condition and to improve.
Because a lot of it has been about the human interface, brain interface. Tell me about that.
Right. So one of the major challenges in the field is understanding the creative brain in social interaction, like in the arts. And what I think is very beautiful to be able to combine the humanities with science and technology. And so we brought here a full company of dancers, musicians, engineers to showcase a bit of what is happening in the brain during a creative performance.
Now we have video of the performance now that we were showing. So explain what's going on here.
So we have two dancers that are wearing neurotechnology non-invasive. So we are listening to their brain as they move with the music. We are also recording the motion of their bodies. And we are using this information through a brain-computer interface to display in real time how their brains are interacting as they perform.
How are you able to, I guess, tap into their brain?
So we use some non-invasive sensors that are recording tiny electrical signals that are escaping from your brain from different parts of their head. You know, the visual areas, the prefrontal cortex making decisions, the auditory areas listening to the music, the motor areas that are controlling the body movement. When
you say non-invasive, what does that mean?
It means we are just listening to their brain activity. There's nothing going inside their brain.
Okay, a lot of people can say, how are you able to listen to my brain?
Right. So we are capturing electrical signals that are escaping from the head. These signals are generated inside your brain, different parts of cortex. And through this sensor, we are able to sample this information and then process that in real time to give you an insight as a window to look at what's happening in the brain.
Doesn't this present lots of ethical questions?
Well, I like to think that this is really an opportunity to understand social interaction and what we can do to improve relationships. You can think about a mother and a child, about a wife and a husband. You can think about a mentor and a mentee, or even, you know, when we have a debate. It would be useful to understand.
Okay, well, I'm sure it's useful. Okay, let's take an example. You said a husband and a wife. Let's say the husband believes the wife has been cheating, and she says no, and he can listen to her brain now.
I think at the core of this type of problems is the lack of communication. Sometimes the inability, some of us, to communicate our feelings and our wants, and maybe this is an opportunity to intervene and to actually.
Well, some people might say that's between a man and a husband and his wife. Why would, and they don't necessarily want to talk about that.
Well, I mean, there are clinical applications, right? So there are some clinical groups that may have problems with communication, and the technology could help to devise new ways to treat that.
Could this technology become widespread eventually?
I believe so. There's no risk involved with technology itself. We need to be very aware of the potential ethical implications, and it's all about informing the public, engaging the public, and that's one of our goals here.
But what happens, for example, if those non-invasive sensors are put on someone without them knowing, and then you discover what they're thinking?
Well, that's not correct, right? So you, as a person, have the last say on when you can record data, with whom to share the data, and how you're going to use it. So what we want to do is empower you to take control of your own health and well-being by using this technology.
Well, there's a lot of talk about regulation. Is this going to require regulation?
If it is used as a medical device, yes. There are ethical parts. I think we need to have people, all the stakeholders on the table, right? We need to inform the public so that they can make an informed decision.
What's your thoughts on, because some people say that this AI technology for social good is great. Does this enter into that?
Well, I think again it's an interesting integration of AI and brain-computer interfaces, which have now helping each other to understand the human condition. And I believe that if we're responsible in how we develop this, we co-develop this with the clinical population that may benefit, or with the stakeholders that may use it to promote creativity or learning, then I think this is good.
So finally, what do you take away from the summit?
A couple of things. One of the messages here is you don't need to decide between the arts and science and technology. You can do both. And I think that was one of the goals that brought me here. The second one is that you can use this technology for good. To understand the brain, in the interactive brain, to disseminate this to the public, to engage children and older adults in the technology.
Fascinating, Professor Contreras-Vidal. Really fascinating. So we'll be hearing a lot more from you in the future, I'm sure.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
We'll have much more on the AI for Good Global Summit coming up right here, so do stay tuned.